So, Senator Gallacher, off you go. But I think
thank you. Look, I just want to address two of the recommendations of the report, and one is that the government should provide a debt guarantee, and the first recommendation is actually that paragraphs 7.1AA and 7.1B of the Qantas Sales Act 1992 be repealed, while leaving the remainder of Part 3 of the Qantas Sales Act 1992 intact. So, two very simple recommendations out of this References Committee, and quite contrary to the scurrilous allegations of the intent of this committee's deliberation. So, in the short time I've got here, I want to say why we should have a debt guarantee. Well, we should have a debt guarantee because of the size and the contribution, both in numerical employment terms and in dollars, to the Australian economy. Some figures that have been put before this inquiry, if Senator Edwards had bothered to actually read, this sector contributes about 6.1% of GDP, $75.6 billion, and that is on 2011 figures. There are 149,000 jobs directly supported by the aviation sector, 97,000 jobs indirectly supported by the aviation supply chain, 65,000 jobs through the spending of the employees of the aviation sector and its supply chain, and in addition there's nearly 500,000 people connected with this industry in the tourist industry. So it's a big chunk of our economy. The ACTU very succinctly put, we are an island, we can't drive to another country. Qantas carry 50 million passengers a year. Virgin carry 28 million passengers a year. That's nearly 80 million passengers travelling on an airline, and this government must make sure that its citizens can freely travel with ease at a respectable price and safely. And Qantas and Virgin do that. But Qantas has come to the government on repeated occasions crying about foreign investment from foreign airlines. Well, let's have a listen, or let's have a think about the last time that a foreign airline invested in Australian Airlines. And I mean Australian Airlines generically. Air New Zealand, into Ansett. Air New Zealand dropped into Ansett, and on a particular day, on the Thursday the 13th of September 2001, the owner of Ansett Airlines announced a write-off of Ansett's book to a value of $1. To the value of $1, and up to 15,000 people lost their jobs. And this is why this government should look at a debt guarantee. Because lo and behold, what happened 2 days later after Ansett collapsed and there was a dire situation and the citizens of the country couldn't travel freely? 2 days after the Ansett failure, the Minister for Workplace Relations, the Honourable Tony Abbott, announced a proposal for a levy of $10 on each air ticket purchased in Australia. So my point, Madam Acting Deputy President, is simply this. The government cannot walk away from this and say it is just private sector business. The citizens of this country need to be able to travel freely and safely. And in the event of a corporate collapse, the government, this Howard government minister, the Honourable Tony Abbott, intervened and whacked on a levy for 3 years to simply redress the situation that failing to act, and I would say that the Honourable John Anderson, when approached by Qantas, picked a winner. He backed Qantas and Ansett fell over. But it is always the government's responsibility to make sure that we can move around this country freely and safely and efficiently. And it is always this government's responsibility to make sure that we maximise employment opportunities for ordinary day Australians. This is a vital sector. A debt guarantee would do one very good thing for Qantas. It would back them up and give them a better credit rating. It would allow them to become more competitive on their additional routes, their international routes, where they're operating 1963 technology when they need 787s and they need them now, and they've deferred that order. It would bring that back into play. It would allow our airline to be what it is collectively known as an Australian airline, Qantas. We would have all of our people looking at new aircraft instead of old 747s. We would be travelling on new planes and their numbers would pick up. Their profitability would pick up. And my argument is if you don't be proactive, you're going to have to be reactive. When 27 million passengers are travelling on Jetstar and 23 million are travelling on Qantas, when the age of Jetstar aircraft is 5.2 on average and the age of Qantas is 9.8, I think the case is well made. I don't support the current management of Qantas, but I support the survival of a great Australian icon, which has pulled this country out of the problems since World War II. There have been ample situations where Qantas has simply done the right thing and evacuated people from Darwin, 700 people on a 747, in Fiji, in the bushfires. This airline always comes to the fore. And we need nothing more to remind us than the tragedy that's unfolding with Malaysian Airlines. People of a nation look to their airline, they want it to be supported by their governments, run properly, and a debt guarantee would be a damn good idea.